everybody, and welcome to Real Talk Corner, where conversation sparks change and every voice matter on this program. And this is your host, Dr. Esther Cruickshank. And with me tonight, I want to welcome my beautiful, bubbly co-host, Hadassa Charles MacLeod. It is Thursday, the 9th of October. Oh my God, as I say the 9th, I just remember something, but I can't talk about it on the show, right? It has been a beautiful day, but I've had, I don't know what kind of day I had today, but it was a good day because I'm alive and the breath of God is in my lungs. It started early with a phone call that troubled my spirit and had me, going into some depths in the spirit realm. Yeah. Hadassa, how was your day, my darling, my chica?
My day was good. Um, Thank God for that. Down to the wire. Sorry for joining a bit late, but it's like that sometimes. But it's always good to be on another episode of Real Talk Corner Live so that we could have the discussions of the day. So I had a good day and I am excited about tonight's show.
Yeah,
Thank you for
but
asking.
there are so many things that has been taking place in the day lately. These days, there's so much that is happening, but we
You
just want
telling
to
me?
focus on a couple of things, probably about two things. And first of all, I want to tell people, listen, despite all that is happening, despite all the challenges that is before you, despite how you may feel about circumstance, your personal opinions on issues with government or with just people, just relax yourself. Make sure that you are happy. Make sure that you are content with whatever is happening around you. Take charge of everything that is around you. Don't allow people to take charge of you, or don't respond to people based on their foolishness. Hey, stay calm, smile, and if you feel to answer, answer calmly. If you don't feel to, shut up and stay quiet. But don't let nobody get on your nerves. Don't let nobody take your joy. You hear what I'm saying, people? Please learn to relax because there is too much at stake. Life is precious. Unless you're ready to die, I mean, you could just probably do whatever you want to do or relax. In the old time days when the patriarchs did all they had to do and give their wealth to their children and so on, they just used to lie down and die. If you have that authority, if you could operate in that authority, well, you can go ahead and do that. Do what you have to do and then lie down and say, okay, give up the ghost. But other than that, hello, don't make nobody get you upset. Do what you have to do and make sure that whatever you do, you are happy with it, okay? Because nobody can't make you do what you don't want to do. So don't go around blaming anybody or doing anything that you don't want to do. Just know that you have authority over you, and everything that you do, the consequences are there, line up waiting for you, okay? So please learn to be calm, learn to relax. I'm learning to be calm, even though I'm a very hyper person. I think people would know that by now. I'm a hyper person. I cannot talk like my co-host. She is so calm and collective with whatever she does and say. I don't think I ever see her get angry. If she gets angry, it's a silent angry. But me, I'm a hype person, you understand? And I don't be vexed. Sometimes people think I'm vexed. But when I get, I just go off and that's just me. And everybody can't be the same. Thank God, or else it would be a boring world. Everybody has to be different, right? So that's me,
Indeed.
people. So learn to be yourself. I wouldn't try to be like my co-host. I love her temperament, but I wouldn't try to be like her. I don't think I'll be successful. So in this life, be you, respond according to you, stay calm. Your calm might be a little hyper like mine. Her calm is different, and other people's calm is going to be different, okay? So just know, be happy. You know what's this song? Be happy. Don't worry, be happy. Yes, don't worry about nothing.
Yes.
Just be happy. Show respect, give love, and be happy, all right? So That is my word of encouragement to all of us. Stay calm, don't worry, be happy, trust God, and know that everything is going to work for your good and for His glory. All right? Okay, to my co host.
Oh wow. Well, yes, contrary to popular beliefs, I do get very upset sometimes. Um, there's a disconnect though because a lot of people don't know when I'm upset, which is upsetting because I'm usually like, "How do you know I'm not mad?" But yeah, I probably have to work on my angry face. But speaking of consequences, I guess everybody by now is aware of the fact that one of our MPs, Mr. David Lee, along with a friend of his by the name of Hugh Leung Poi, they were rearrested on October 7th concerning um, tax exemption charges. Now, Mr. Lee was this first came to the public space back in 2019, and at the time there was not sufficient evidence, so the case they arrested it, but the magistrate at the time was waiting for evidence, and it has appeared that the DPP has issued a warrant for their arrest, and these charges are now back on the table. Um, it's for me, this was a little bit disappointing. We are 6 months in, and of course, I think everybody was hoping for smooth sailing and things like that. The prime minister did say that she is going to be less tolerant of things like this. It is left to be seen how she is going to choose to treat with it. I know there are a lot of citizens who are looking to see what Mr. David Lee himself does, if he is going to resign and things like that. I don't know if that is necessary at this juncture. But I know that in the past we have had, um, especially under the PNM, a lot of scandals coming to light. And right now, they are the ones who, of course, are ringing the bell and calling shame, shame, shame. But let us not forget that the PNM does like to behave like if, the UNC is purveyors of corruption, right? When all of this kind of nonsense takes place under the PNM and nobody says anything. Let us not forget a similar case that concerns one Mr. Faris Alrari. All right? But this is not a tit for tat game. This is not it's okay for us to do it because the PNM do it. That is not the case. This now has to go and be heard in a court of law. And exactly, this now has to be heard in a court of law for Mr. David Lee to be made whole again. And we always have to remember that justice needs to take its course, and you are innocent until proven guilty. So the court still has to have its say, at which point then we would say, okay, maybe he should resign. Um, let's see what happens. But again, I was really hoping to have like a tarnish free term where none of these type of issues would come up. I think there is something to be said about being so circumspect about the persons that you choose to represent you in office, to represent your party, to represent your parliament. I think all these things are very, very important. But let us see what is going to come of it. I will say this: we as a country, we need to be very, very clear about the fact that we should have no tolerance for corruption. Does not matter who does it, right? And we have seen a lot of politicians walk scotch free from things, and they seem to be, impervious almost to justice because of who they know their money, their connections, and things like that. And we as a society, we really need to do a better job in terms of making sure that everybody, layman, poor man, rich man, that everybody see their day in court, and that these matters play out in a way that that gives a sense of justice, right? So let's see what is going to happen. Let us not be too quick to cast aspersions and jump to conclusions. Let us see what is going to happen. But I'm really, really hoping that we would have people acting with the highest sense of integrity. If Mr. Lee feels that him being there is going to um, bring a shadow over the UNC government and things like that, I'm hoping that everybody in this situation would do the right thing. What say ye, Esther?
The Prime Minister is tonight maintaining that David Lee continues to be the Minister of Housing.
His statement comes hours after he was granted $1 million bail, while businessman Hugh Leongboy was granted $600,000 bail today following their rearrest on fraud and misbehavior in public office.
Both men did not appear in their virtual hearings as they remained at the Port of Spain and San Fernando General Hospitals, respectively. They both fell ill after being rearrested. The men are charged with conspiring to defraud the state of $1.4 million in taxes over the importation of a $2 million Mercedes-Benz. Prosecutors allege Lee falsely claimed ownership to benefit from parliamentary tax exemptions. They will appear before a High Court judge after DPP Roger Gaspard files the indictment, which, based on past instances, can take years before they make an appearance in court.
Opposition Chief Whip Marvin Gonzalez is calling on the Prime Minister to immediately revoke the ministerial portfolio of David Lee.
Gonzalez said the situation presents a serious test of leadership and integrity for the Prime Minister.
David Lee serves at the pleasure of the Prime Minister, and therefore it falls upon the Prime Minister to do the right and honorable thing in the public's interest, to remove David Lee from the cabinet of Trinidad and Tobago until such time he ventilates his matter before a court.
The position is, what are you buying a vehicle for? When you buy a vehicle, you're actually meant to be using it in your constituency, in your private affairs, etc. And those of us who are elected members of parliament are on the road constantly.
But did you need 2 more after the first one to be able to do your work? Because you bought 3 in 5 years, and it wasn't 3 Hondas, it was 3 Porsches.
And it's less than the cost of a Toyota. So what's the point?
Well, let me say my part, Hadassa. Let me say what I have to say here. Firstly, the matter with my colleague, my good dear brother, wasn't something that just happened. Hadassa alluded to having a free from issues and whatever too. First, I must say, we would never be free from issues. As long as we are in the land of the living and the devil is here, it ain't gonna be free. Secondly, this is a matter that was closed off. There was no evidence. Well, apparently they get evidence now. So with my Prime Minister talking about she's not accepting certain things, this has nothing to do with my Prime Minister, no. She already made a statement and said, let the court do what they have to do. But it is unfair. This case was dismissed. There are so many, and you know why I play those clips? Faris, what did he say? He insulted those persons. And you know what? He needed a push to work in his constituency. Well, listen, Dr. Lee needed whatever he needed to work in his constituency together with his friends. I can't see what they're talking about tax exemption. If he bought the vehicle for someone who is working there, Luxurious Marvin need to shut up, because when it's in the P&M time, and I'm not saying that what the P&M did, we are supposed to do it in the UNC. I'm not saying that at all. But this was something that was closed off. All right? The DPP find it fit to reopen the case I hope he has new evidence, because that is what I know is supposed to happen. I can't see what is the problem here. Dr. David Lee is going to continue to perform his duties. The people, Marvin Marvelous, Marvin, or whatever they call this gentleman, talking about the Prime Minister has a duty to the public. It's the public interest. What is our interest? Our interest is we want Dr. David Lee to serve our constituency, to be the Minister of Housing, and to do what is right for the people of Trinidad and Tobago. I don't see how this issue is affecting any one of us. It ain't affecting me, and it's sure ain't affecting a lot of people. But whoever it is affecting, you all sit down and wait. Wait on the court to do what they have to do. Why he must not perform his duty? Under the PNM, you all do whatever you want to do, and nobody can tell you all what to do. Under the UNC, leave the Prime Minister, the Honorable Prime Minister, to do what she has to do. She is going to do what she sees fit for the people of Trinidad and Tobago. And I am so fed up of you all. You know why? You all just wait for the simplest thing to make an issue. But I am saying, all you shut up and that's it. Shut up. We don't want to hear. Who want to hear? You all could go and have a conference with them. But we don't care about that, because that is not something that happens after April the 28th of 2025. No, it's nothing new. We are going well. What you all need to do on the other side is to tell all your people who sitting down in position that and don't want to leave and undermining what the UNC want to do, get up and leave the ministries. That's what you all need to do. Get up and go and allow the people under the UNC to function and to do what has to be done. All you left this place in a mess. Leave the Honorable Prime Minister alone. What are you doing? Trying to stress her out? She would not be stressed. As long as people like myself and others are praying for her in here, she will not be stressed. We will pray for her, and we will continue to pray for her that God will give her the wisdom. And for the religious community who like to babble a lot, you all need to shut up as well and pray. Pray for the government. What the Bible says, the government shall be upon our shoulders. It is our responsibility to pray for the government of the day. When PNM was in power and all, it was praying for them. Now you have UNC. They have a mandate. Pray for them that everything is going to go smoothly. And that is my contribution. You all need to let things happen. This is nothing new. The DPP decided he wants to bring it up. Let them deal with it. The Prime Minister said, let the court do what they have to do. And you know what you are saying? You are innocent unless proven guilty. So leave Dr. Lee, let him perform his duty. He's doing a very good job in his constituency. And he is doing a good job at his ministry. So if all you have a problem with that, suck it up. That's all I'm going to say on that matter. Suck it up. Let justice, let it flow. But this is nothing new. This is a vindictive kind of situation that is before us, because they're looking for everything to mash up the UNC government. But it's not going to happen. Trust me, it's not going to happen. Yes, to my co-host, it's not going to happen.
I still trying to find the evidence of Porsche being cheaper than a Toyota, because if that is the case, that's going to be my next vehicle. Because he was trying to be ambivalent and deceitful.
Exactly.
But not only that, let us not forget the amount of times that Faris Al-Rari and Stuart Young himself, they were unable to effectively do their jobs because they had to recuse themselves hundreds of times from debates in Parliament because issues were tied to them or their family members concerning millions and millions and millions of dollars. All right? These people like to pretend as if they ran a circumspect ship, right? When every Monday morning it was a different issue.
A different issue, and there was no court matter. The DPP didn't have a case to arrest none of them. All that they did, the DPP never arrested any one of them. And Faris, with his bold face said, it wasn't a problem. What was the problem? Because he needed a Porsche to go into his constituency. And all the other vehicles he had, I think all of them probably was working in his constituency. So leave Dr. Lee alone. If he bought the vehicle and he decided, listen, you know what, I buy this vehicle, but by the next month I'm giving it to my partner here, who's my friend, who's working with me in the constituency. They don't have facts and evidence of that. But anything with the UNC, they always want to put somebody in court or do something, you know, to make us look bad. Well, hello, Oliroxo, because he's not going to step down unless they have new evidence that he did something wrong, because I recall when they set him free, when everything was dismissed, he did nothing wrong. They had no evidence. So let's see what they come in with, because you know what? They love to come with a pack of crap and make sure that that evidence is not like Emailgate. Make sure the evidence is not like Emailgate. That's all I am going to say. They wouldn't stop, you know. I am telling the citizens of this country, especially those of you who support the UNC, keep your eyes open, because they're going to keep coming. Emailgate was a joke. They're coming worse than that. All you have to be prepared. Know that they will attack us because they're not happy with the fact that they lose the election. They were putting us under pressure, and they didn't think we would vote them out. Okay? They didn't think that their people was fed up with them. And we are going to make that change. So leave my Honorable Prime Minister out of all your mouth. She is not obligated to do nothing. Let the court and the DPP do what they have to do. And let our people function. What you need to stand up and say is tell all of them who trying to frustrate and undermine the ministers in the ministry to get the hell out. That's what you need to be saying. That's what I want to hear all you say. Nothing else. All them CEOs and all these PS and all these people who frustrating the persons who are supposed to function in the ministries, all you leave. It's either all you leave or comply, but all you staying there, they staying there and they're undermining whatever has to be done. They have done it in the past and they're still doing it. And we need to find a way to work around them, because they're very, 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 very selfish and very much poisonous to what the UNC has to do. And that is something that disturbs me, because they stay there and they're not giving the UNC government a chance. They're smiling and they're grinning and they're stabbing you all in all your back. That's what they're doing. They don't mean well. They're taking what they could get. Some of them pretending to be the supporting the UNC, but they're not. They're taking everything and carrying it for their MPs and the hierarchies in the PNM. That's what they're doing. So let them get real. That is what all you need to talk about. And after that, shut up. And let the UNC government perform and do what has to be done. Right? And the next thing I'm going to talk about, you see, my UNC members and colleagues, people in the UNC party, who is trying to undermine their own people, watch all yourself. Watch all yourself. Those of you around my Honorable Prime Minister and trying to undermine, doing things and leaking out information, and nobody tells me anything, you know, it's what the Spirit of the Lord would show me. All you watch all yourself. Because we're not praying in vain. We want this country to run properly. We want citizens to be able to live a good life. Right? And the Honorable Prime Minister of this country is not the kind of person like the ones that went before. She is not like that. She wants everybody to succeed. She wants everybody to be comfortable. Of course, everybody ain't gonna make $1 million. Everybody ain't gonna make $5 million. Some gonna make 100,000. Some will be 50, based on their ideal situation in their environment. But they will be much more comfortable and will be able to achieve their goals based on their ideology and what they want to achieve. But those of you who think and feel for a moment that you would sit down around the Prime Minister, let her gain trust in you, and then after you sabotage her, it's not going to work, because we're praying for her. The Bible said that the government is upon our shoulders. We're praying for every one of you, but we're going to ensure that the leader who wants things to happen, it is going to happen. And those of you who being deceitful, it will be revealed. It will be shown up, because she can't take no more pressure than she is taking. She's taking enough. This woman have to turn over this economy. Of course, she have help. But if you're all trying to undermine her, change your mind now. Change all your mind about it. Let's work together as a party. Let's work together as a team to make things happen. And those of you who are trying to cut up one another, change that. Change it, because you all will be exposed. you all will be exposed. You can't hide in the dark for long. Or you can't hide in the dark for long. If you're with the Honorable Prime Minister, stand with her and be there and make sure things is happening for this country. Don't go there and try to make her look bad in any way or fashion. You all do what is right, because there's a team of people praying for her. Not only I, there are a team of people praying for her. We know there are a team praying against her too. But darkness cannot override light. It cannot, and it will not. So that's what I want to say to our people in the UNC. Stand together. And if you feel you can't stand, move out, walk out, whatever. But let good sense prevail, because we are not going to allow this country to run down worse than what the PNM did, and for them to stand up and laugh at us because they're already doing the nonsense they can't be doing, and we can't be doing as well. We got to stick together, stand together, stay with our Prime Minister, give her good advice, not foolishness, not things that others will have to laugh at us saying we don't know what we're doing. We very well know what we are doing. And our Honorable Prime Minister knows what she is doing together with other ministers. And this is not only ministers, but there are a few of them who I have seen in the spirit. I've seen them, okay? All you leave that woman alone. Leave that gracious woman alone. It's either all you're for her or you're not for her. If you're not for her, get away. Remove yourself. But don't stay there and play the fool. Don't. I beg of you. Don't. Because I don't want to see nothing happen to you all either. So let us stand together. Let us show the love. Let us do what is necessary for the people of this country. At the end of the day, the people who put you all there, we put you there to serve us. To serve us and to make sure that things happen in this country for the betterment of the citizens. Not for all you to just feel all you're on top of there and all you do what all you want. No, I don't want that happening. And don't put no extra pressure on my Prime Minister. She has enough. And if those of you who want to talk and say, I'm singing for my supper, well, hear what? I'm singing for breakfast, lunch, dinner, and supper. All right? Because what I want is for this country to run properly, and for the man and woman on the ground, the children on the ground who are suffering, to be able to say, yes, this Prime Minister, the woman who have compassion, the mother of our nation, she is working on our behalf. So yes, I will get really, really, really mad for those of you who want to undermine our Prime Minister and you right or wrong her. Try something else. Don't try that at all. Yes? Hadassa?
Yeah, well, I feel you said everything. All warnings
I said
have
everything.
gone
No,
out.
there must be more.
um, the thing about it is that there's always going to be people throwing distractions. Um, I feel like if this was planned, right? Because we do have a budget reading coming up on Monday, and I believe that there's going to be a lot of goodies in there, right? And the PNM only wants to deflect and detract from what the UNC is doing because it shows them up in a way that proves that they were a very terrible administration for this country. So we are very excited to see what happens on Monday, please God. And is there anything in particular you're looking forward to in this budget, Esther?
To tell you the truth, I just want, because I know there are so many issues in every ministry, so many
So
issues
many.
this country is facing. It's just for, you know, the government to have a balance and to bring some relief to the people, especially those
Yes.
workers who were employed with CPAP and URP, and a lot of people have lost their jobs and their children are not attending school, a lot of them. So I have no great expectation that we keep afloat, because a lot is being done, and I think within the first 2 years we need to leave room for recovery and to bring back a sense of stability to the country, and at least to ensure that there are families who can put food on the table for their children. It don't have to be like some people say in the PNM, you may not be able to eat macaroni pie and all them foolishness. I think they would still be able to eat their macaroni pie. Leave that up to the people. As long as they have a job, they will determine what they can buy and cook and eat. We can't dictate that for anybody. That's what I don't understand. The PNM used to feel, at first it was one of the prime minister talking about what? Eating dashing and yam, ground provision. Then the next one come with coal pot and riding bicycle. Then the next one come about you may not be able to eat
Yeah,
macaroni pie and
sounds like
callaloo. Let
Marvin
people make
Gonzalez
that
himself.
decision. Yes, let people make those decisions. Who is all there to stand up and talk about what all they should and shouldn't tell us what we should and shouldn't do? Eh? No, just ensure that there is jobs openings for the people, that the small man with their business can operate and function, and let people live their lives. Your responsibility as government is to make policies and put things in the place for the banks and the credit unions and all of these people to look at a holistic way to deal with people who are even in arrears, people who can't get loans because they want this, that, and the other. Make it easier and simpler for people to do their business. Don't tell people what they shouldn't and shouldn't eat. Then you want to tell people just now what they should and shouldn't wear. No, you all are there, was there, the PNM was there, and all they wanted to do is tell people how to live their life. I don't see our prime minister and our ministers telling people that. What they are there doing is trying to find solutions. And I say hats off to the government of the day. With all the challenges that is before them, they are doing what they're supposed to do. All I want is that foolishness I am seeing, that internal, I don't want to say the rest, but they know who they are. Stop pulling down one another and work together. And especially our prime minister, ensure that you all are doing the right thing. That is all.
Indeed,
But I have
indeed.
no
And
great
let's not forget
expectation.
the PNM telling you how to live your life is really just indicative of their failure. They were really trying to say, we can't help you put food on your table, so you shouldn't eat. Um, and another thing people are talking about as well has been the recent cabinet reshuffle, which I don't understand why there is speculation and talk around it. Because in my opinion, it just feels like she is tightening the nuts and bolts. Right? You finish a project, and now you're just making sure that everything is aligned. So, for example, putting prisons under the portfolio of Minister of Homeland Security, Roger Alexander, those things just make sense. The Prime Minister herself has also taken on more responsibility as well, making sure that I get the feeling that in this term the buck stops with her. So she's making sure that there are a lot of things that is under her purview that she is going to be directly responsible for, because she wants to make sure that she gets certain things out of these different portfolios. So I am not alarmed and whatnot. This is not a case of the PNM leaving people like Fitzgerald Hines to rot in a ministry that he was not at all aligned for, that he underperformed, misperformed, right? So it is a good thing that these things are happening now, early, because she has seen where people strengths are, she has seen where people probably need help, and she has made certain changes. And I, for one, applaud that. I applaud somebody who can edit and who can pivot as time goes on. That is actually quite commendable when it comes to leadership. All right.
That's
Um,
right.
other yeah other things that are happening as well is, well, we know that when she came back, there was an announcement that the dragon gas deal is back on. A lot of people have a lot of things to say about that, but that particular dragon gas deal, we have to remember, is actually contingent on the OFAC license from the United States. Let us remember that Venezuela itself has a lot of sanctions on it put on by the US, which means that to trade with Venezuela, certain licenses have to be issued. And the license was not only issued, but it has been approved, I think, for a 3-year period. Mr. Producer, do you have that clip?
Trinidad and Tobago has been granted a new 6-month OFAC license from the U.S. Treasury Department, valid until April 2026.
The Attorney General says this means government and the national gas company can now begin formal negotiations with Venezuela on the development of the Dragon Gas project.
Andrea Perez-Sobas has all the details.
Declaring the Dragon deal alive, Attorney General John Jeremy announced that this country has secured a new 6-month OFAC license from the United States Department of the Treasury, valid until April 2026. This means formal negotiations with Venezuela on the long-anticipated Dragon Gas project can now begin. Last week, U.S. Secretary of State Marco Rubio supported the OFAC approvals after meeting with Prime Minister Kamala Persad-Bissessar in Washington, D.C.
The effect of the grant of this license is to permit the government and the NGC to engage in negotiations with the government of Venezuela and other stakeholders to advance the Dragon Gas project without breaching sanctions imposed by the United States government and U.S. law. It bears noting that the last administration spent in excess of $120 million pursuing this project.
While he avoided going into specifics, AG Jeremy confirmed that the license was issued Wednesday, marking the first stage of a phased process that requires the TNT government to meet key benchmarks.
This is a commercial win-win for all of the parties. The United States benefits from this arrangement. There are terms and conditions in the license which ensure that U.S. companies benefit, and there are tiers as to exactly how they should benefit. Trinidad obviously stands to benefit.
AmCham TT CEO Nirad Tiwari tells CNC3 that the development is important for TNT's energy sector and wider economy.
The OFAC license paves the way for cross-border collaboration on the Dragon Gas project, which will enhance our medium-term and our long-term economic outlook and facilitate TNT's continued capacity to be a leading and reliable hemispheric partner.
With the new OFAC license now in hand, all eyes are on how quickly and transparently the government can move from approval to actual progress on the Dragon Gas project.
Indeed. Stuart Young spent $120 million trying to get this done. Regardless of what the public is saying, you would realize that in terms of the business community and economic experts and stuff like, there has been a lot of buy-in where this is concerned. I feel a lot of people have been shocked by the quote-unquote resurrection of the Dragon Gas deal. It seems like it has risen from the ashes like a phoenix. But all this will be a positive thing for us. I think I'm really happy about this. Esther, what say ye?
To tell you the truth, I have not been studying this whole thing because I've had so much on my plate, and I've listened. I was listening to a clip where Stuart Young was talking about, you know how they come across to me like little children. And I told you also, and the UNC this, and the UNC doing this, and the other. I am not, I'm not perturbed about what they have to say. I know whatever our Prime Minister and Minister of Energy are doing with respect to that Dragon Gas thing, it is for the betterment of our country. So I don't want to hear people saying and they try to shut it down and all this foolishness. I'm not concerned about that. As long as it's going to benefit the citizens of Trinidad and Tobago, I'm all for it. If it's not going to, then we shouldn't be involved in it. And if the Prime Minister is involved, it's because she knows it is going to benefit the citizens of this country. Because she does, as far as I am concerned, she doesn't do anything that is going to create problems for the citizens. So I really cannot speak much to it.
And Chochong is being disingenuous. Let us not forget the many times that he has chartered over to Venezuela, and the many times that Venezuelan contingent has been on our shores to try to get this thing closed. I feel what is happening is that um, in terms of the US government, and I think even other countries as well, there seems to be people seem happy once again to do business with Trinidad and Tobago. However, the PNM was conducting their affairs. There seemed to be a lot of reluctance to do business with them, right? So I think the issue was that the US was not issuing these OFAC license because they insisted that they wanted to do this dragon gas deal their way without meeting the criteria laid out by the United States. I know that a lot of it has to do with payment has to be in kind. There was not supposed to be, I think, monetary transactions. And I know, well, allegedly, there were a lot of monies paid to Venezuela under the table, and not going to stand by and let that happen. So um, the reason why it wasn't getting off the table is because the PNM didn't want to play ball, right? Kamala Prasad-Visesa has shown that she is willing, and she is cooperative, and she's doing everything that she needs to do in order to make sure that these things do not hamper our ability to trade with Venezuela. So it is a positive occurrence in the right direction, and the naysayers will continue to naysay. They have no choice. They have no choice. But she has been able to do in a short few months what they could not seem to get off the ground for years.
Because the reason why they could not have gotten off the ground is there was no team play. You can't want to do something and do not work with what the American government wants. Even though I will tell you, I have issues with American government sometimes, how they like to dictate other people. But in this case, I don't think it's like that. I think you have to know how to work as a team and how to allow the process to just flow, right? And like again, I am saying, I know that our Honorable Prime Minister, she will do what is necessary to ensure that the citizens of Trinidad and Tobago would reap the benefit of whatever is taking place. So I am not concerned too much about that. What I want is for us to have unity, for us as the party in government, for us to be aware of who we are dealing with. Remember the PNM and Emailgate. Remember the PNM and many other issues that they would bring up just to discredit our Prime Minister and her team. They're going to do it. So we have to be alert. We have to be intentional about seeking out what they are planning. They don't just sit down. Listen, in my opinion, PNM is like a cult, all right? And people need to understand. They're not, you feel they're just sitting down and letting this government do what they have to do. No, they will do everything in their power to try to come and create problems. All right, so we have to be focused. We have to be steadfast. And I am not, I always say to people, I am a citizen of the kingdom of heaven. I am not about party, but I support the UNC party. I support the Honorable Prime Minister, and I would continue to do that because of their policies and the way they deal with stuff. I may not support all of the ministers and some of their actions, but as a human being and in their portfolio, I am standing because I want to see change in this country, not what we had to endure for the last 10 years and previously before that, before the UNC and the deceased Basdeo Pandey and all these people. PNM is not a party that I really support at all. I have been there. I grew up in it, all right, because in those days it was PNM. But I don't support their policies. I don't support how they deal with the people. So you'll never get me supporting them unless they change, and I know they're not changing. They are always about dictation. dictating the people and doing what the people don't want done. They're all about themselves because of what they call them, the percent, the certain amount of percent that control, yeah. So I am not willing to listen to them until I see they can do different. And they're not going to do different. So for the next 10, 15, 20 years, let them sit down and reconnect and learn to reconnect with the people, because they don't. That has always been their problem. They don't listen to the people who puts them there. So I don't want to hear anything, and plenty of people don't want to hear anything about them. So that's just my take. It's a lost cause with them. Anything with our Prime Minister now, I know her heart is for the people and to ensure that this country, Trinidad and Tobago, become the paradise that it ought to be after God. Yeah?
Yeah, indeed. I don't have anything else to add. Well said. Why is it it's still on me? I don't I have nothing else to say.
Oh gosh, I think I haven't done any research today. I just got a message from one of our colleagues, Lyndon Mark. I don't know if we could bring in Lyndon Mark to say a few words on, I guess, is the gas issue. So maybe, hi Lyndon. I don't think he's there yet. Yeah, but you know what? I am happy you talked about the reshuffling. And like any new business or any new organization, when you start, sometimes you realize that some people are not in the right fit. And you look at what is happening, and if they can't handle everything. Remember, we have a lot of new ministers, and some of them have never been a minister before. So in order to ensure that things go smoothly, and especially where you have these PS dictating the pace, you would make changes there. You probably would put to persons who have been in ministry, in government before, and who could handle it. Nothing is wrong with doing a reshuffling, but you know what, the media, the journalists, they just want to blow things out of proportion. I think it was somebody, I can't even remember, but my thing is, I believe it is a good thing, and she, our Prime Minister, in her wisdom, she is going to do what is best for the country and for everybody else. So I don't have a problem with the reshuffling. She didn't how you call it, tell anybody to resign or to go or whatever. A reshuffling is good, right? It shows that she is in tune with what is happening. She's making sure that she directs the ship. The ship ain't sinking and it ain't floating one side. She is directing the ship, and I'm happy with that, because it means that she's paying attention and she's looking at the shortcomings of individuals, of ministers. She's looking at their strengths. She's looking at their weakness, and she is doing what she thinks is right for the country to go forward. So I have no problem. I welcome the reshuffling as well. And I think you're going to keep seeing that probably for the next year, within the next year, year and a half, because they are very, they are good people out there still, very people with ability, intelligent people who are still out there that she can bring in to help us steer the ship. So I have no problem with that. If they want to make it an issue, let them make it an issue, right? It's not like P&M. They can't perform, and you rightly mentioned former Minister of Security. They can't perform. They're saying all kind of things to the citizens. You're embarrassing and insulting citizens, and the Prime Minister kept him there and did not move him, despite the cry by the people, the citizens, to remove him. They didn't do it. But our Prime Minister is not like that. She's not like that. She's not like that. And nobody was crying for anybody to be removed. She just, out of her wisdom and out of her experience, she decided, and I am certain she would have sat with all of them and they would have made those decisions. So those are things, minor things that I am not paying attention to, right? I really not paying attention to. The reshuffling was welcomed by myself and many others. So let's see how it goes. Let's see how it goes.
Exactly.
Are we getting
He
Mr.
to be
Martin?
happening.
All right.
Is he on?
No, I don't think so. And our time is close to wrap up, so.
Yeah, people seem to be having a hard time with her particular style, because I feel that once she's not doing things like Keith Rowley, it means that she's not performing. That is not the case here. And people got accustomed to Mr. Rowley being in the news every single day, buffing
No.
people. So that means that he was leading the government. She is taking a quieter stance. She has taken on a lot of responsibility, right? And because she is not making a show of it, people think that she is not doing anything when it's quite the opposite, in fact, right? So you cannot expect to get, if you wanted a different government, you have a different government. She's not Keith Rowley. You're not going to get that from
Exactly.
her. Her style is
Exactly.
different. The way that she leads is different. The way that she empowers her ministers, it is different. She is not in everybody's business and trying to make things more difficult. She's trying as much as possible to make things run as smoothly as possible. I know that for sure. So we
The thing
wanted a
is,
different government, and we have that now.
they look at, some of the citizens who they are accustomed to the dogmatic kind of way that the former prime
Yeah.
ministers, used to bawl down on them and shout down on them. She is a tender person, a loving, caring person. And this is her style. Whatever our honorable prime minister do, 1 million of them or 500,000 of them probably have issues with it. Well, too bad, right? You have to sit down and suck it up and wait and see what she does. This is her way of doing what she is doing, and we are going to support her, and we are going to continue to support her. You don't expect her to do things the way PNM did it or anybody else did it. She is doing it the way the UNC is doing it, and we have to respect that, right? And give it a chance to work for all of us. Don't try to come down as a bully to bully her to what? Follow the former prime ministers? Not at all. She's doing it her way, and let her do it her way as long as it's going to work for the citizens of Trinidad and Tobago. So, for those of you who have a problem with that, well, so be it. That's,
No, I mean, all the ministers so far, in different capacities, they have all had wins. If you are paying attention, if you make a point of it to listen to the press briefings and whatnot, they are all making strides and moving the needle in the correct direction. And let us not forget the mess that the PNM left us with, right? I've always said it's not going to be a magic wand and things are going to flip and it's going to be a new day all of a sudden. But they are all making positive strides. I am constantly impressed by Eliza Kur and Khadija Amin, and they are so responsive. They are working. They are working, which is more than I can say for anybody, Nyan Gatsby Dolly, Marvin Gonzalez, Stuart Young, anybody on the PNM side, right? They have had no wins, right?
saying that I think 95% of our ministers, you hear about them, they are working, they're always out on the field. You have Jillian John, you have many others, Dominic, you have a lot of them who are doing
Saddam.
their work. Saddam Hussein, Barry Padarat. Come on, they are working. So what, I don't know what these people want. They want them to cut their skin and run their blood for them. No, they can't do that. They're humans like you, yourself and me, and they are doing more than we will probably ever do if we were there maybe. They have given themselves up to this, and they are serving the people, and our prime minister always talk about serving the people, and I believe that they are doing it because you're seeing them out there, and sometimes we don't hear or understand what they're doing. But let's hold on, wait, have patience, and see the results as we go forward. So our time has gone, and I want to thank each and every one of our viewers and those who have put in their comments. Sometimes you can talk about what it is you would want us to talk about in our next segment, or if you have a question on a matter or issue, we can look into it. And of course, we know that budget is coming up on Monday the 13th, and I know everybody's going to be glued on because we want to hear what is taking place, especially people who are not working, who doesn't have their jobs, who are looking forward to something different. they're going to be glued onto the television, the radio, as the case may be. And we are praying that, things is going to go smoothly despite the challenges that this government has with finances. We know that they're going to make it work for the citizens of this country. So I want to say hats off to them even before, because, and people still going to say what they have to say, whether it's good, bad, or in between. So those things, I mean, my major concern is the people on the ground, that they would be able to survive during the storm that we might be going through, that they'll be able to at least have food and to send their children to school, all right? And that there would be a level playing field for everybody, not some getting all and some getting none. That is what, the PNM, that's how it was. The top heavy hierarchy getting everything, and the man on the ground who had a little contract and stuff, all had gone because a certain level of people, a certain group of people were getting all the contract, getting everything. But this time I'm looking forward to see that everybody's getting something and everybody can live. So with that being said, I want to thank you all for viewing, and those of you who will view later on as the case may be, I want to thank my beautiful co-hosts. I want to thank my producers and my editors and everybody. And I want to thank God for giving me the strength and giving me the ability to be here. Thank my Prime Minister, all the ministers who are working hard. Hats off to you people. Continue to do what you're doing, and let us keep the love, and let us stay together, united, not pulling and tugging at each other, so that we can go forward and be great. Make this country great again. Thank you all. Bye-bye. Until tomorrow, God's willing. Bye.